Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. My name is Diana if you're new. Thank you for stopping by. Here on my channel, I post a lot of mom life and homemaking content. So today is gonna be like birthday style. I'm getting ready for my son's birthday, and so I'm gonna walk you through all the stuff that I do for that. And one of the things that I really enjoy doing is making birthday cakes. And so I kind of wanted to show you how I do that because cakes can be kind of overwhelming, but I really enjoy doing it. And so the first thing that I do, and this was about a week and a half or so before, is plan out the cake. And once I figure out the cake and the color scheme, then I can go from there and buy the decorations and everything. So those first clips were me planning out the cake. I had bought those little truck cake toppers, and we have very small birthdays, and I'll get into that in another video. But there's only a handful of people here, and so for us, a 6-inch cake is just perfect. But I went and played around with the cake toppers and tried to figure out exactly how I kind of want it to come together, and then it's easier to map out all the steps. I would, draw your cake, mock it up, get a good idea of what you want to do, and then you can go from there. And so for this cake, I am making a chocolate cake, and this is a freshly milled wheat cake. I just recently started doing that, and so this was the first cake where I have tried freshly milled wheat, and it did come out good. You'll see here in a minute. I did run into a little bit of an issue, and I don't know if it was because it was the freshly milled wheat or there's a bunch of other issues that I'll get into in a minute and you'll see. But everything came out fine. The cake ends up being perfectly fine. Yeah, I ended up putting it in here just because it's real life, it's realistic. Sometimes being, just a regular mom home baker, things don't always come out perfect, and that's okay. Here I'm greasing my pans. There was a few cakes in my past where I did not grease the pans, so this is definitely key. You want to grease your pans, and then I always make sure I put some parchment paper in the bottom. So this is a chocolate cake, and it's actually a devil's food chocolate cake. Okay, you guys, so I need to clean up my mess now. I've got a pretty big mess in here. But I just wanted to talk about the chocolate cake because I'm really bummed. I don't know what exactly happened. I was so afraid of over mixing it. I looked online and people on Reddit, like with photos of cakes that look similar to mine. There was definitely a lot of people who were saying you over mixed it, you opened your oven too early, like you peaked. I didn't peak on my cake. I don't know, there were some people saying it could have been like the acid in the cake. Now this cake did call for vinegar, so I don't know how much these people really know about, all the science behind everything, but they were saying the acid starts reacting, it starts evaporating, like all this stuff, so I don't know, that could be why. There were some people who said it could be because of the cake pans, like because I used darker cake pans. Some people were saying that my pans maybe were overfilled, and something about, I don't know, the science behind the cake pan being filled too much can do something. I honestly don't know. But I also saw, I guess this is very common, and there were a lot of people who were like, I've been a baker forever, I'm a professional baker, all of our chocolate cakes look like this. So that gives me hope. I'm like, okay, so maybe it wasn't something I did. Hopefully it's just common with chocolate cakes, because that's what I read also, that it's just really common with chocolate cakes. Cakes that are really wet, the batter, it's really common in cakes like that, and that was definitely this recipe. So I'm hoping that that's all it is. I'm not panicking. Normally, I feel like stuff like this stresses me out to the max, and then I just feel like I wasted my whole day. I'm not like flustered. I don't feel like really upset about it. I'm bummed. I don't know why the cakes look like that. But I also saw somebody who had a cake just like mine. The photo was identical. and she was panicking and she was like, what happened to my cake? And then later in the thread, she said everything was fine, that it was just the top of the cake. And when she cut the top off, the inside was perfectly fine. So I'm hoping that that's the case. I'm not gonna freak out, but I did have a little bit of batter left over, and so I filled a cake pan. It was a lot less than the other cakes. So I just wanna like troubleshoot and see if it really could be like maybe your cake pans have too much batter. I don't know how exactly that could mess it up, but I'm gonna try that because I had some cake batter, and instead of throwing it away, I figured I'll just try it and see. And if this cake comes out, honestly, looking in the oven, it looks like it doesn't have the bubbles. And so maybe that's what it was. They're just like too overfilled. But I'm also going to torte these. I'm gonna cut the top off and see what they look like. And if they can be salvaged, I'm probably just gonna use them. I'm totally fine with it. I'm sure it's gonna be delicious, and I really don't wanna make another cake. And the party's not today's Thursday, the party's not till Saturday. So if I hate it or I cut into the cakes and they look horrible, then I still have tomorrow and I can like try to rebake it again. But I don't know, we're just gonna hope that everything's fine. I will check back with you in just a little bit and we'll see what they look like. Okay guys, so the cake pan that I filled way less full than these cakes, look at it. It looks fine. So I think overfilling your cakes could be why that happens. Isn't that crazy? I'm so glad that I put the cake batter in here and tried it, because I knew that that was gonna sit on the back of my mind forever, and I was gonna be like, is it just because I overfilled my cake pans? And I did fill them more than I normally do. I usually just find a cake recipe that I like, and then I'll just split it up into cake pans. And I know that that's not recommended. There are specific cake recipes that are for certain size pans, but a lot of cake recipes are fine, and I just make them and then divvy them up. But this time I did fill them a little fuller than normal, so very interesting. But that's cool, right? So be careful, don't overfill your pans, because you might just get, I don't even want to say what I think this is. You might just get a little butthole.
Mom.
So this is what it looks like. It's not like soft or like extra wet or anything, but it definitely cooked a little different in the center. But I think it's good. I'm just gonna go with it. All right, so Nico just left with Matt. They went to the store. They're gonna go run a few errands that we need for the party tomorrow. While Nico's gone with Matt, I thought I would wrap the presents, and so I'm gonna show you really quick everything that I got. The first thing that I got for him was this Transformers. This is Bumblebee. Yeah, Bumblebee. So we keep going to Fry's, and every time we go to Fry's, he sees this. Well, only because we walk down the toy aisle, of course, but we like to walk down the toy aisle. Fry's has decent toys. We like to go because they have like different Hot Wheels and stuff, so I like to go in there. And a lot of the times, me and Matt will just go to the store. I'll like just go run with him, and so I like to walk down the aisles and just like spend time with him, and we'll like talk about the toys and stuff. But when we go, he keeps seeing this and he wanted it, and so I ended up picking it up like a week or two ago. It was like 10 bucks, I think. I'm not sure how hard it's gonna be to transform. He has a few of the Transformers. They're a lot smaller, and he struggles a little bit. I also bought him some toddler ones for Christmas, and he does good with those. It says for 6 and up, but we'll see. Hopefully he can do this on his own. But I got him this, and then I got him this. This is the Imaginext Super Friends, and this is Batman. It's a little Batman car, and it has these little discs, and you can put the discs inside the car and it shoots them out. He has a Spider-Man one like this that he really, really likes, but I thought this one was really cool. It has like a little booster that comes out the back, which I thought was cute. He'll think that's fun. And I'm not totally sure, but this little blue piece here in the middle, it rocks back and forth. So I think as it goes, roll along to shake engine and spin the exhaust flame. So while you push the car around, this engine like shakes back and forth, and then I guess the flames in the back spin. So I know he'll love that. That's going to be so cool. And then also what's cool about this one, I can't really open it, but this little top of the car pops open, and then Batman can go inside. So I know he's going to love this. I've had my eye on this since Christmas, and recently I had looked at it again, and it was on sale for like $8 or something. So got him this, and I got this from Amazon. And the next thing I got him was this excavator. He's obsessed with the excavator. He's obsessed with this construction machine specifically, and he's been asking me for one. Just randomly, he'll tell me, Mom, I want an excavator. Mom, I want an excavator. And of course, he loves to watch Blippi. I love Blippi too. I love the real Blippi. There's two other Blippies now. I don't care for them as much, but the real Blippi, I love the real Blippi. He's funny. But he loves Blippi, and of course Blippi has like the excavator song and all that, and so I got him this one. This one's like a middle range size. They have the specific cat brand ones that are smaller, and then they have ones that are bigger than this. So I got the one right in the middle. I wish they made metal ones. I tried looking for metal, and the only, what do they call that? The die cast, the only die cast kind they have are really, really small. But I was hoping I could find like the steel framed, like a big one, because I would love for it to last forever, but they just don't make toys like that anymore, and it's really hard to find, you know, good quality toys. But oh well, it's plastic. I'm sure he'll have fun with it. And then I also got him a dump truck, because I figured that'd be fun. He could like dig in the, well, and that's another thing, he loves to dig in the dirt, so this will be fun. He can use his little excavator and put it in the dump truck. And actually both of these, I got them on Amazon, and they were on sale. It was like a flash deal for like $6. I think normally they're like 12 to 15, but they were on flash sale for $6, so I snagged them up. And then the next thing I got him, it's not very much, it's not very big, but I think he'll like it. It's just a little tiny like Play-Doh cutter. What specifically do they call this? I don't know. It's just called a Fun Factory starter set, but it has the little like smasher, and it has different little like stencils that you can put on it, so that you can squeeze Play-Doh out, and then you can also kind of like pop out little just so that you can pop out little shapes. But he definitely loves Play-Doh. He plays with it all the time, and I think he'll really like this. He likes to be busy, like really busy with his hands. He likes like little tiny tedious work, and like things that like have mechanisms and all that. I don't know if that's all little boys. He loves like that kind of stuff, and so I think he'll really have fun with that. And it's little. I didn't want to get something big, and a lot of the times the big flashy toys, like the big Play-Doh ice cream sets, all that stuff, I bought those before, and the kids don't really play with them, and they take up a lot of room. But I figured something little like this, we can just keep it in his little Play-Doh bag, and then he has an extra little toy to play with his Play-Doh. And then I got him just a pack of Play-Doh. So I also we bought him two more things. Nico picked out a bike for Matt, and we're just waiting on that at Walmart. Nico's gonna go pick that up later on this afternoon. It's his first pedal bike. He does have a glider bike, and he does pretty good on it. And he does really good on this little Paw Patrol scooter that he got for Christmas too. And he's really good. He goes really fast, and he like turns, and so I think he's ready for a bike. And so we got that this morning. We wanted to get him a bike, but they were kind of pricey, and we just really didn't see anything that we liked. And then today I looked one more time, and I checked Walmart, and they had a Huffy 12-inch toddler bike, and it was really cool colors. It's like gray and green, and it had really, really, really good reviews, and it was also on sale. It was on sale for like $68, normally $100. So I was like, I feel way better about that. This one actually had good reviews, and it was on sale. So We did get him the bike. I'll probably show you here in a little bit. I'll insert a clip here. I also bought him a pair of sunglasses. He has these Spider-Man sunglasses that he's been wearing for a while. They're pretty scratched up, and he loves to like pop out the lenses, and they're basically trash, but he wants them. He loves them. So, but I tried to get him a new pair, and they look just like Nico's sunglasses. They're polarized, but Nico has like a red-yellow lens color, and so I got the same kind for Matt. So I think he'll really dig that. Yeah, and maybe we can get rid of the older Spidey ones, but those won't be here till the morning, but I'll insert a picture of that too. I didn't buy Matt new wrapping paper. This is the same wrapping paper from last year, but I still have a fair amount left, so I'm gonna try to use it up. But it's this, it's like colored balloons. The back is red, so I can also do reversible on these. And then it has a matching cupcake one with the blue stripe reversible, this happy birthday one with the orange star reversible, and then if I happen to need any, I have this just, you know, rainbow colored one. But they all kind of match since his birthday is like the monster truck theme, and we went with like a blue and red and yellow kind of thing, silver, so it all should match pretty good. And then I got him some bows. Got a green one, a yellow one. We did red, blue, and blue and green. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap these up while the boys are gone. So for Matt's cake, I decided to make a special cake board. So I've seen people do it before, and I glued 3 cake boards together to make it taller, and then I wrapped it in aluminum foil. And for this, I followed a video online actually. I watched this lady's channel, and it's called Carolyn's Cakes, and I love her. I think she's really funny, and she has some really nice tips for cake decorating. So I love to watch her stuff, but I had seen her do this. And so you wrap the cake boards in foil, and then on the back there, I did use some hot glue, but I also had Nico bring me some duct tape just to ensure that that aluminum foil didn't slide around. And then while I had the hot glue gun out, I went ahead and glued the axles of these little trucks, because these are just regular little monster trucks, and the wheels like totally moved around, and so I knew that they were gonna fall off the cake. So I used some hot glue to, you know, stop the wheels from spinning. And now I'm working on the frosting. We're gonna get started on the cake here. So for the frosting, I decided to do a chocolate cream cheese frosting on the inside. And for the outside of the cake, I'm just gonna do a regular buttercream frosting. So the frostings were pretty identical. It's just butter and the powdered sugar. And for the cream cheese frosting, it was just half butter, half cream cheese. And it used cocoa powder to make it chocolate cream cheese. And then I used Americolor Electric Blue for the blue frosting color. But I will link all the recipes that I used down below for you.
We got something magical, pretending that nobody knows, trying to hide but it shows.
And this here is a really cool trick that I saw, and this is from Carolyn's Cakes also. But if you put your frosting in a blender, or like a food processor, or with an immersion blender like I had, it makes your frosting really, really smooth and gets rid of all the bubbles. And I tried it and it really worked. And it even made the blue frosting, like the color was way more vibrant than when I had just mixed it with the mixer. So that was a really cool trick. but it just helped get out all the air bubbles and it was super duper smooth. And once the frostings were ready, it was time to assemble the cake. And I was not messing around with this cake, so I did go ahead and make a simple syrup just in case. It looked fine to me. I knew it was going to taste good, but I just wanted to add some simple syrup just to make sure that it was edible. So I put some simple syrup on there, and then I used the blue outer frosting for my cake dam because I did not want the brown frosting to leak out into the outside of the cake. And once the dam was there, then I went ahead and put in the chocolate cream cheese frosting and just tried to make sure that the chocolate frosting wasn't higher than the blue frosting so that it wouldn't seep out. And then I placed the next layer on top, and again I put some simple syrup on top, and then I just repeated the layers. So normally when I do my cakes, I do add a crumb coat, but this time I'm trying a different technique. I saw it on a YouTube short, I can't remember where. You use a piping bag and you pipe the frosting on the outside of your cake in a pretty even layer, and then you use some cake acetate on the outside. Once the acetate is on there, then you use a tool that's called a cake ring, and what it is an expandable ring that goes on the outside of cakes. And I didn't get a very good shot of it. I didn't realize that I didn't film the whole me unboxing it and everything, but it's a tool that expands to different cake widths. So I think the one I got can expand all the way to 12-inch round cakes, and it expands down to the 6-inch, which is what I was making. And you put the metal collar on the outside of the cake, and then you squeeze it really tight, and you'll see in the shots when I take it out of the freezer what it looks like. So then you squeeze the plastic acetate with the cake ring on it, and then you stick it in the freezer. So about an hour later, I went inside and I took it out of the freezer, and then I'll show you what it looks like. And in between the cake decorating and stuff, I was going around and cleaning, and so I decided to clean the back doors because they're always full of fingerprints. And here is the cake ring. So as you can see, it expands large and then it can shrink down to the smaller size, and so it kind of squeezes the acetate on there. I probably should have had a little bit thicker layer of frosting on there. I've needed to make more frosting just overall, but once you take it out of the freezer, the frosting is frozen. So when you then take your remaining frosting and fill in the gaps, and you use your bench scraper like normal to smooth out your sides, the frozen frosting acts like a guide, ensuring smooth sides. So it was really, really helpful. And then I also had a pan of hot water on the stove that I used to dip my bench scraper in to help warm the frosting just a bit as I scraped it smooth.
It's all about us as we're dancing close together, making out. It's all about us. It's all about us. There's some magic in your eyes, can't get enough. Feel your hands, the way you're touching me around my neck. Got chills down my back, you do it right. The way you're holding me, no, I don't want this moment to stop.
So the technique does work, but it took so long. It probably took longer than when I just ice it by hand. I will say having it frozen on there is like a really, really good insurance. And especially if you're practicing or you're new at it and you're not comfortable yet, this is a really, really good way to be able to practice swiping and getting it nice and smooth and straight. And the hot water really, really helped, be able to shave it down and get it nice and smooth. But I would definitely say if you're scared of doing cakes and it's just a nightmare for you, this is a very, very good way, and you can have a really beautiful cake. It did take a little bit of time. Probably if you had a little more frosting than I had, you wouldn't have had to mess with it quite so much. And I will say this is way prettier than when I do cakes. Mine look decent, but this is really, really sharp and this looks great. So it was kind of a lot of work, but again, with anything, this was a new technique and it's gonna take some practice for me to get used to it. Yeah, I'll probably do it again. After I finished icing my cake, I did place it back in the fridge for just a little while to harden up, and then I went ahead with decorating the rest of the cake. And I wanted to put some of the Oreo dirt on top, and I've seen people do it with regular Oreos, but while I was shopping I saw that they make chocolate Oreos, which have like a brown frosting. So I tried that and I really liked the way the dirt looked. It was black and also had bits of brown in it. And then I just placed that on top with a little spoon. And once I was done with that, it was time to put the trucks on top. And it was a little bit scary, but again, because I had glued the axles, the trucks weren't rolling around. And then I'd also already mocked up how they needed to sit on top of one another to actually stay on top of the cake. So I had a general outline already on how to do it. And then I also made some flags for on top. And to make the flags, I just used my Cricut. I used the Cricut program so that I could size these and get them just how I wanted. But you could also make these with like a paint app or maybe on Canva and size them down to the correct size. And then once they were done, I printed them out and then I laminated them. And then I just cut them by hand. I didn't even use my Cricut to cut them out. And then I glued them onto straws. I love to use the straws for decorating just because they're food safe and it's easy to get them into cakes. So a lot of my decorations I glue to straws. And then this is a little blip back in time again. This is how I made these tires that I put on my cake, and I also made like a little nameplate for Matt. For the tires, I used Wilton pre-made fondant, some cornstarch, which helps keep the fondant from sticking, and then I bought this CMC powder. I've used it before, and it helps fondant harden up, and it makes it really nice and workable. So I followed the directions on the package, added that to my fondant, worked it in really good, and then my fondant was ready to go. I used a little bit of the cornstarch to put inside of the silicone molds, and that helps the fondant release really well. Although I'm thinking you could probably do it without that. I've just seen people use the cornstarch, so I wanted to be safe. After you get the fondant in the tire mold, it goes in the freezer for about 20 to 30 minutes. And then I popped them right out and they were so nice. The molds were really nice and clear and all the little treads and everything showed. So I really like these. I'm going to link this stuff down in my description just in case you want to do this. And then if you had seen my mother-in-law's birthday party, I had also used glitter paint like this before. It's an edible glitter dust, and I have a gold one, and from that same brand, I went and bought this silver one. That's what I'm painting the rims with here, just to add a little bit of dimension. And to use the dust like a paint, you just add a tiny amount with a little bit of a clear liquor. You could use vodka or like a flavored extract. I used a lemon extract that I had on hand. And it's just a tiny, tiny amount, and it makes it a nice paint consistency. The last thing I did for Matt's cake was make this nameplate, and I'm kind of going for the Monster Jam aesthetic. So if you are familiar with Monster Jam, you can kind of see what I'm doing here. And so I tried to find a font that was similar to the Monster Jam font, and I cut out his name. So to do this, this was like a last minute thing I did, so I needed to make a blue fondant. And in order to do that, I did make marshmallow fondant. I will link a recipe down below for you if you want. And I also added the CMC powder to this blue fondant and also to the black fondant. Once the fondant was ready, I rolled it out with a fondant roller. Fondant rollers come with these little bands on the side so you can roll it out to the correct thickness and it's nice and even. And then I printed out Matt's name on the font I wanted, and I traced that out onto the blue fondant and cut it out. And I'm not gonna lie, this took a long time, but after a couple tries, I was happy with the way that the letters came out. I cut them out using an X-Acto knife. Just make sure you have a good amount of cornstarch down because the letters do want to stick. And then I had a damp paper towel next to me to clean my X-Acto knife as I cut the letters out. And it was hard, it was time consuming, but I really wanted a nameplate on there. I got most of my tips from Carolyn's Cakes. I'm gonna link her whole channel down below for you guys because she is really, really good and she has some wonderful videos. So if you wanna do anything like this, I think she can give you the confidence that you need to try something like this. At least she did me anyway. So after I cut the letters out, then I put them on the black fondant and I cut it out into a rectangle to kind of get that nameplate. And then I used just a little bit of water and I put that on the back of the letters to make it stick. Be really careful, you don't want to put too much water because any water that seeps out does change the sheen of the fondant, so it'll look a little bit different where the water touched. And then once that was done, then I went and cut out the rectangle and that was basically it.
So many things that I still don't know. It's time for me to move on. I want you right here, but you're all across the globe. Never call me back, even though you're on your phone. Wishful thinking gets the best of me. Hoping that it's still you.
To get the nameplate to stick, I used piping gel. I just bought this from Walmart. It's like a thick jelly consistency. But I used that to stick the nameplate on. And once I was done with this, then I moved on to putting the tires on. And to put the tires on, I used toothpicks and I stuck them into the back of the fondant tires. And I did this when they were fully dry and the toothpicks went right into the tires, no problem. And I didn't just freehand this, I did mock the tires up a little bit on the cake before I just went and put them on there. And as you'll see, I did need to take some out and kind of reposition and everything, so I didn't just get it all up there in one go.
Will you ever call me back? How am I supposed to go if we never say goodbye? Reading through our conversation.
So here is Matt's cake. I was so happy that I was able to pull it off. When I'm making cakes, I really try to think of a simple design that I think I could pull off, and so that's why I bought the toys for the cake toppers, because I knew there was no way I'd be able to make little trucks to go on top. That's why I also like to incorporate paper cake toppers, because again, it doesn't take too much on my part. I find images that I like and then I can have something nice on top of the cake. And then this was my first time using the cake molds, but I think that is awesome. If you can find cake molds that match with the theme of your cake, it is just a really nice way to get some quality cake toppers on your cake. And it didn't take much skill, just putting some fondant in the silicone molds and popping them in the freezer. But overall, I was so pleased and so relieved that it came out, and it was so cute, and Matt really, really liked it. He thought it was so awesome. Now that the cake was done, it was time to move on to decorating the house a little bit. I bought this banner off of Amazon, and when I bought it, it was more vibrant online, of course. Amazon showed it way prettier, but it's okay. It was still really cool. And then I wanted to show you guys this Gorilla mounting putty. I love this stuff. I know a lot of people hang up their banners on kind of like the backdrop holders, but I don't really have anything like that. So, and it works just fine here on my wall. But I use the Gorilla putty to put on like the sides of the backdrop, and it really holds it down good and it comes right off. I just really like the Gorilla putty. I've used it for different stuff around the house, but it's something really good that I like to have in my toolbox. Now I'm working on blowing up the balloons for the balloon arch. I got the balloon arch kit from Amazon, and I also got the foil balloon from Amazon, and of course the foil balloon had a hole in it, but I was able to tape it shut just enough so that we still had it for the party. And for my balloon arch, I'm trying something a little different. Normally I just kind of grab random colored balloons and try to put them together in a way that I think looks nice, but this time I tried like color blocking them, and I thought it looked cute. It was just a little different. And then it was on to hanging the balloon arch, and I like to use fishing line to do it. And it's not the easiest thing. It is kind of hard and, cumbersome when you're tying the fishing line to the wall and all that, but it works for me, and I like that you can't see it. And then I put the extra balloons up, the number 3 and the checkered balloons. And then I bought a tablecloth, And I had started buying tablecloths like a couple birthdays ago, and I can't go back now. Now I don't like the plastic ones, and I know that's so fancy of me, but I do. I really like the way the real tablecloths look. But hopefully soon here I'll have like enough different colors that I won't have to buy anymore. And now I'm starting to churn my ice cream, and this is my favorite ice cream recipe. It's so delicious. I'll link it down for you guys. But you just heat the milk, the cream, and the sugar together. You have 6 egg yolks. You temper your eggs, so you slowly add some of the warm milk mixture to your eggs, probably about 1/3 of the milk mixture. That brings your egg yolks up to temperature, so then when you put them in with the cream, they don't turn to scrambled eggs. And then I heat the cream till about 170 degrees, or once it coats the back of a spoon. And then I leave it out on my counter for just a little while to come to room temperature, and then it goes in my fridge for as long as I possibly can, just so it's really nice and cold. And also, for this I just made a vanilla ice cream. I thought that would go good with the chocolate cake. But I love this ice cream. I've used it as a base for peanut butter ice cream or for Oreo ice cream. But I'm definitely a vanilla girl. I don't know about you guys, but I love vanilla ice cream. And this is the best vanilla ice cream I've ever had. It's so thick and so creamy, and it's perfectly sweet, and it freezes so nicely. But if you use this recipe, take a screenshot of it, because I think it's the New York Times, and you can only look at the recipe like a handful of times, and then they make you pay for a subscription. So this is just their website, and I screenshotted the recipe, but it's so delicious. This is the morning of the party. I'm getting some last minute cleaning in my faded pajamas. These got like bleach stained or something somehow, but I'm just gonna wipe stuff down, get it nice and clean in here. And if you're still watching, thank you so much. I know this is a really long video, but I wanted to get all the cake decorating in there and, just kind of show you my take on a monster truck themed birthday. So if you're still here, thank you so much. And drop me a comment below if you want. Don't be shy. I love talking to you guys. You guys have been so nice. And I wanted to say thank you to all my new subscribers. It really means a lot to me. It's so hard having a YouTube channel in the beginning because you feel like you're talking to nobody. And it's just hard to know what to say and what to do. And when people start subscribing, you feel like you're on the right track, and it's so nice to talk to nice people and find other moms. And in my real life, I don't have any friends. All the friends that I had in high school just really went off the deep end, and I stopped hanging out with them years and years ago, and my only friends in life are my sisters. And so this has been a really nice outlet for me, not only creatively, but meeting all these new people. It's been really nice, and I've been really enjoying it. But that is going to be it, guys. Another birthday in the books. We had a lot of fun, and Matt is such a sweet, loving little boy, and he's at that age where everything is so awesome to him. So it was so fun to see his little face light up all day. And the cake came out just fine. It did not stand a chance. It was so fudgy and decadent, and I'm so glad that I didn't toss it out or remake it, because it was just fine. But thank you guys again. I hope you have a happy Easter, and I'll see you guys again next week.